Hello and welcome to Smash Writing. This is Wesker, and today we are talking about Lisa Frankenstein, a movie I was originally going to go see when it came out, but it came out on the same day as the first Omen, and I was only able to go see one of them. I'm a big fan of the Omen, so I went with that one. There's my 50-50 on whether or not I probably made a mistake or not, and there were bits of the Omen I enjoyed, so that's fine, I guess. But today we're going to rectify the mistake and check out Lisa Frankenstein. Let's dive in and talk about it, shall we? This movie opens up with Lisa getting ready for a school party with her stepsister, Taffy. Taffy is full of school spirit. Well, Lisa is not so happy to be going. She's not the most sociable, as her doctor is the one who suggested she go be more social, and that's what Taffy's trying to do. But as she's getting ready, she even gets electrocuted by the tanning bed that Taffy won. So they're on their way to the party, and we learn a few things about Lisa along the way. One, she has a crush on this boy Michael Trent, and two, she really likes spending her time at an abandoned cemetery because she doesn't feel like people should be forgotten. So she goes and she tends to it, and she really likes one. They don't see a name on him, but she really likes the bust, and that's where she spends her time. We arrive at the party, and they go about their separate ways. Taffy takes no time to talk to her friends about the real story behind Lisa, and that was 2 years prior. She hid in the closet while her mother was knocked off by an ex-murderer. And for a while there, she didn't speak at all. She had selective mutism, and she's just now getting back to talking and everything. And her dad met her mom 6 months after and married quickly from there. And meanwhile, Lisa is running into Michael, and she's nervously chatting him up whenever they're interrupted, and she takes a drink, then spiked, and she has to be helped to a bathroom to sit down for a little bit, a bedroom for a little bit by an unassuming guy named Doug. Luckily, she has enough energy to get away from the little assaultant pervert, but on her way home, she stops by the cemetery, and she wishes she was with him at the grave that she likes to go to. She gets home, she breaks a mirror, and she passes out. She has a weird dream and is woken up by her sister because her mom is pissed off over the broken mirror, her stepmom. And we learned that her stepmom is pretty terrible human being. But they go off about their days, and later that night, when she's home alone, she gets chased around by a monster. But after some comedic runaround, it dawns on her who this is. She has a bit of a laugh because that was not what she meant when she wished that. She wished that she was deceased with him in the ground because she does not like to be among the living. But she gets him showered and stashes him in her closet just as her family's coming back home. And she gets reamed out, and her stepmom's threatening to put her in the asylum over this to get help for her obvious need for attention. Like I said, really terrible person. The next day after she gets home from school, Janet confronts her again because no-name creature did something to her, and she's blaming Lisa for it and is going to just ship her off now. But the creature does not take offense to the way she is talking to Lisa and even slapping her at one point. So the creature bonks her in the head with a sewing machine, cuts off her ear. Together they bury her in his old grave, and she reattaches the ear, and using the electricity from the broken tanning bed is not only able to restart the ear, but kind of makes him look a little less zombie. She's taken on a bit of a new persona. Taffy has a hickey that she's covering up, but we have no time for that. She's lured Doug into his demise, and they cut off his hand, reattach electricity. And at this point now, after this round of electricity, he's not able to walk around better, but is able to dance and able to play the piano. He feels a little bad about all of the murders, but she talks to him and tells him, it's fine, they deserve it. But Taffy's realized her mom's missing. She didn't make it to Milwaukee, and now the walls are closing in on Lisa. She has one thing she wants, though, before she does something drastic. She wants to give herself to Mike. Fortunately, he's not at school, and the cops are there. There were witnesses who saw Doug with her. the day before. So she goes out, and the zombie hears it on the something on the answering machine about her leaving. So he hotwires a car and meets up with her and takes her to Mike's house. And that's when they find Taffy in bed with Mike. She goes nuts. The zombie gets angry, attacks him, cuts off a body part that Mike has that he no longer has. So she stitches it on for him, gives him a juice of electricity so they can have an intimate moment together. And she feels the only way out for her is through electrocution of the tanning bed, set through its highest form. So Taffy and her dad believe she has passed away. The dad doesn't care because the dad hasn't cared about anything in this movie. I think he's the axe murderer. Taffy, though, is feeling dejected even after what happened with Mike and everything. She still looks at her like a sister and the apology that Lisa gave to her and everything. As it turns out, she's not dead. She's been brought back from the undead, probably by the unknown guy, the unknown creature, who's fully back to human and talking now. And that's Lisa Frankenstein. This movie was certainly a trip. I expected this movie to be crazy and bonkers. It's not as crazy as I thought it would be. I actually think it was, my expectations of crazy was higher than what this movie delivered. It was, not saying it wasn't a fun movie though. It was witty, it was zany is probably the best word I can come about for this movie. The humor was on point for the most of it. I love the out there dynamic of Lisa being this traumatized teenager who's slowly coming into her own. But even when she does come into her own, she still has that stalling a bit, I want to call it awkwardness to her. And it was just enjoyable watching her grow and enjoyable seeing the people who do die, except for probably Mike, kind of deserve it in a way. Like, no one's going to feel bad for Janet or Doug. And there's a bit of heart mixed in on this too, because you do feel bad for Lisa through all of this until, she starts up in the crazy levels. And the cast really, they knew what they were doing and they delivered fully. Catherine Newton's having a hell of a year too, because Abigail was amazing and she was a lot of fun in Abigail. And I didn't realize she was in Supernatural too. I should have realized it, so I love that show. I watch it too much. But I loved her as Lisa. She did a really good job playing that traumatized character who's slowly breaking out of the shell, but she doesn't quite got to that point, especially since she has Janet as a mother. But she was fun to watch throughout the movie. Outfits they were putting her in were creative as hell too. Cole Sprouse was hilarious as the creature, the mindless creature. The way he just threw himself into this role. He was just literally at one point just smacked his face off the wall in the shower, and it was so good watching him play the mindless creature. But he kept that throughout the phases of his return to human, we'll call it. It's kind of fitting this time around, I'll leave that. But he kept that mindlessness to him until he was finally human. And he played that off very well too. And for a character who had no lines for 99% of the movie, he did a good job playing, like doing grunts and groans at the right time to communicate in dull body language and everything. And I also want to throw some light on Lisa Sobrano. She was a pleasant surprise. Because she started out as you thought she was just going to be that ditzy cheerleader, but she was more than that. And it was really nice to see her be the one supporting Lisa throughout this movie. Like, she was really trying to be her sister. Even when her mother was being horrible, Taffy was always there defending her. And it was really pleasant to see that character in this movie. I will say, I'm a little disappointed we don't know who that axe murderer is. That'll be a little itch in my brain forever now. Thank you very much. But as far as movies go, we're going to give us a B+. It was a really fun movie. It was lighthearted. It was zany at times. It was funny at times. There's a bit hard at times too, because I really liked the dynamic between Lisa and Taffy. That's a fun dynamic they played with. I think they probably could have played with it a bit more. But with all that said, that's all I have to say. Have a good day, evening, night, afternoon, whatever, wherever you are. As always, bye-bye.